Today we've got this beautiful 1955 Beetle pickup. Just going to go through a few of the options on the car and how to start it and a few other items.
Hi, this is Todd from Central Classic Cars. Just going to run through the controls of this 55 Beetle. In order to start the car, we have your key and we have your manual choke. Now this is a manual choke, means that you have to turn it on and turn it off, unlike cars 56 and later. So what we're going to do, we're going to turn the key to start. I'll pull the choke out about halfway or so. Turn the key and start it. You're going to notice if your car seems to be stalling, you want to pull the choke out a little more. The engine is going to increase in RPMs, that's fine, that's what it's supposed to do. As the car warms up when you're driving, you can gradually turn this off. And you want to turn this off. You don't want this on while you're driving when the car's warm. And you'll turn it off all the way back down to idle. As you can see, the car is still cold and it stumbles a little bit. So you'll want to keep that choke out a little more. And you can see it runs a lot better with the choke on. But like I said, as the car warms up, turn the choke off. Okay, now we're going to show you a few different things on here, such as your wipers and your headlights and your turn signals. There's your ashtray. There's your glove box. This is your windshield wipers. Now they don't self-park, so wherever you turn it off, that's where the windshield wipers are going to be. So you have to turn it off in the spot that you'd like it in. Over here is your headlights. First is your parking lights. Second is your full running lights. As a dimmer for the dash, you rotate that left and right. Turn that off. This is your turn signals. This is your horn. And this over here is your hood release. If you want to fill it up with gas, you pull this out. That will pop the hood. The hood's up. You want to take your finger, pull this towards you. That'll lock this latch. Now remember, when you're putting this hood back down, lift the hood slightly, push this back. Because if you don't push this back, this will actually crack your hood. So you want to bring it up, pull it towards you. That'll keep that way. This is your fuel tank. And you can actually look down in and see how much gas you have. That's why it's so large, because
It's about 8-gallon tank.
It's a 10-gallon tank.
10-gallon tank.
But there is no fuel gauge on this. That's one of the reasons why this is so large. So you can look inside, see how much fuel you have. Now I'm going to shut this real quick. Push back. And when you go to shut it, I put it down and you give it a firm push. And you'll hear it click. Always check it to make sure it's locked. As I mentioned, there's no fuel gauge on these vehicles. That's the way they came from the factory. Instead, what they have is a fuel reserve tap, which you see the small lever down here. Fully to the left is your normal running. You drive the car until you run out of gas. When you completely run out of gas and the car stalls, you can either take your foot or reach down, grab this lever, and watch how I turn it all the way clockwise. That's your reserve. That'll give you an extra 1.5 gallons of gas to drive to the gas station to fill up the tank. After you fill up the tank, to turn this lever all the way back to the left, so you're back on your regular running and you have that reserve. Because if you don't and you run out of gas and you're on reserve, you're out of gas. And we're also going to show you how you access the engine. Inside of here is a small, they call this a church key. Church key goes in this hole. Turn it clockwise, and that's how you access your engine. And then to shut it, just back down and press. Also, since this car is 6-volt, the batteries do have a tendency to wear down when the car sits. So what's been installed on this is a kill switch. If you notice the small red lever here, it's turned fully clockwise. The battery is hooked up and is powered on. If you turn it to the left, you can remove this key. The battery is now unhooked from the car and the battery will not lose its charge. It's a nice anti-theft device as well as a way to save your battery when the car's not being driven. Again, reinstall, turn clockwise, and the car will start back up. Now I'm going to show you a little information about these two controls. This is your emergency brake. What you want to do when you want to put on the emergency brake, pull up gently. Hear the clicking, you'll hear about 3 clicks, and you'll feel the lever get tight. That means your emergency brake is set. When you want to turn the emergency brake off and drive away, pushing this, lift up slightly, pushing this button, and release it down to the ground. Now also, we're going to talk about the transmission. This transmission is a 4-speed. The shift pattern is first, second, third, fourth. It's an H. As you can see, there's the first, second, third, fourth. It's an H. Now reverse, you push down to the ground. You push down that way, you'll hear it kind of click. Over to the left and then down. That's your reverse. To get out of reverse, just push it forward and there's your neutral. Now what I also want to talk about is this transmission has what they call a non-synchro first gear. What that means is you cannot downshift into first gear. To go into first gear, you have to always stop the vehicle. You always want to make sure the car is not rolling. If the car is rolling, it will not go into first gear. You'll hear grinding and you could damage some of the gear teeth. So always, always never downshift into first. You can downshift fourth to third to second, but never downshift into first in this vehicle.